Like many people today, I come from a long line of workaholics. And I was also diagnosed with ADHD when I was in my late 30s. So I've had quite a journey when it comes to work and productivity and focus. When I was younger, much younger, I realized that my body, my nervous system, my highly sensitive nervous system, wasn't quite cut out for the workaholism, the pressure, just that constant need to be doing things, because I started having health issues. And it really slowed me down and helped me see that that constant push that society loves to reward, it just wasn't working for me physically. I couldn't do it. And so it set me on this trajectory of really trying to figure out how can I be productive and focused and engaged in satisfying, deeply satisfying work and making a contribution in the world and in my family and in my community without burning myself out, with being able to be in my body in a regulated way. I don't do it perfectly by any means, but I want to share with you the 11 hacks that I've come up with to really support me in being in peaceful productivity. So this is really about prioritizing peacefulness, serenity, calm, nervous system health as we are out in the world being parents and being citizens and doing all of the wonderful things that we want to do in the world and make our incredible contribution in a way that most of us were never role modeled. Most of us never saw how to do this. So here are my 11 hacks, and play around with them. I would love to know if they work for you and what you experiment with. Let me know in the comments. So let's dive right in. The first one is be impeccable with your word. If you've ever read The Four Agreements by Miguel Ruiz, then you'll recognize the agreement, the first agreement, to be impeccable with your word. Our words are so powerful, and they can really be, as he says, they can really be a double-edged sword where we can use them for or against ourselves. And so in this hack, it's really just about noticing what the storyteller in your head is saying about your ability to focus, about your productivity, about your ability to relax, right? Like every time you sit down to relax, are you having this voice that tells you you're not doing enough, it's not okay? And just like, do you have that workaholic narrator that's really putting all this pressure on you all the time? If that's the case, then you can practice being impeccable with your word in the direction that you're wanting to grow and in the skills that you're wanting to build, right? And so part of that may be using words, if you can honestly say them to yourself, using words like affirmations to be like, I'm doing my best, pointing out and stacking evidence for like, these are all the things that I did today that were in alignment with my goals, right? And like really affirming those things and being impeccable with your language around that. Or it could also mean silencing the voice in your head. If you're having a hard time believing the affirmations, then you can just silence the voice in your head as best you can, turn down the volume on the critic, and instead focus on your breath. Instead focus on coming into the present moment, right? And listening to the sounds around you, paying attention to other things, and really ignoring the voice in your head that is just telling you lies, right? So being impeccable with your word is really choosing carefully how you want to talk about your work, how you want to talk about your focus, how you want to talk about your productivity, and choosing words that put out into the universe you're just affirming what it is that you want to be creating and letting the rest go as best you can. The second one is about being impeccable with your vision. So this is really about picking a project, picking a vision that is really, truly, deeply on your heart. It's not something that anybody else is telling you you should do, but really like just between you and you, what is on your heart to create, and committing to that vision as best you can in that moment, and then being impeccable with it. So you're not flip-flopping around all of the time, right? And if you find yourself kind of getting distracted or getting pulled, kind of getting shiny object syndrome, that you can come back to your intention and really be honest with yourself and say, is this intention still something that is truly, truly in my heart? And if it is, then making the choice using the power of your ability to choose to come back to that vision and stay the course as best you can. The third hack is really about taking care of your body as best you can so that you're able to stay present, right? So this means like listening to your body. For many of us, when we get into like work mode and focus mode, hyper focus, we forget to go to the bathroom. We forget to drink water. We forget to eat. We forget to get fresh air, right? And so coming up with ways to remind yourself to take care of yourself and just do the best you can with that. If you're having a hard time focusing, then noticing, oh yeah, have I done the things that my body needs today? If your mind is starting to spin, can you get some fresh air? Can you move your body a little bit? Maybe turn on some music and dance. Maybe go for a walk, right? Get some water, do some push-ups, right? Do something to get the blood moving to your brain and supporting you in being able to be productive in a way that is self-nourishing and self-nurturing instead of that drive, workaholic, push through, pressure, gotta get it done kind of mode. Sort of along these same lines, I've recently been very consistent with a somatic practice that I highly recommend. So that can be so helpful, right, for helping regulate the nervous system so that you can get out of the fight, flight, freeze, fawn paradigm and really think more clearly and have your body be more relaxed, right? So that your productivity can actually be so much easier, right? When you're not just in that triggered mode of I am frozen and I can't do anything, or I'm in that fight mode where I'm just go, 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 right? And so the somatic practice, there's so many different things that you can do. Obviously there's like tapping, EFT. There are just so many different somatic practices that you can do. And I'm happy to direct you if you want to ask in the comments. I can talk more about this. But the idea is just, are you taking care of your body? Are you taking care of your person? In a way that you would take care of a person that you deeply love, and not being in that high pressure drive mode, but really taking care of your person so that you can be in your most calm, most productive, focused place. So the next one is really checking in with your intuition. So one of the things that I love to do is to close my eyes and connect in with my vision. What's the project? What am I working on? What is my intention around that? And as I feel into that and I get into that vibratory state of like, oh, okay, this is what I'm wanting to create. This is how I feel in the creation of that. This is so exciting. I love this. I can feel my body lighting up at the idea of this. When I'm in that state, then I notice, what intuitive guidance am I receiving? What is an action step that I can take that is in alignment with this vision? And noticing from that what ideas come to mind. Because when you're a workaholic or you're in the fight, flight, freeze thing, it's really easy to just stay busy. And we tell ourselves, as long as I'm busy, I'm good, right? I'm safe, it's okay. But actually, we can be really busy and not moving the project forward. We can just be spinning out. So if we connect in with our body, take some deep breaths and say, okay, what is the next action step that is really, truly going to move this project forward? Then we can receive that guidance and make the commitment to ourselves that we're going to take that action. Okay, which brings us to our next one, which is make a promise to yourself that you're going to take action on that guidance that you were given. So as you receive the guidance, you say, okay, yep, that's the guidance I'm getting. That's going, even if it seems tangential, even if it seems irrelevant, like, okay, this is the intention, this is the guidance that I got, and I'm going to take that action. I'm going to call this person, I'm going to do this thing, right, that I'm getting the intuitive guidance to do. I'm going to promise myself that before my head hits the pillow tonight, I'm going to do that thing. And this goes back to being impeccable with your word, right? Really following through on that promise to yourself, which brings us to building trust. The next one is really focus on building trust with yourself. So when you make that promise to yourself, you're building trust. Every time you take action in the direction of that desire, you're building trust with yourself. See, I can take decisive, deliberate action consistently, and I can still come from my heart. I can still take care of my body. I can still have peace and serenity. I can still prioritize taking care of myself. And I can see that all of these baby steps are adding up. I'm making progress. I'm not just busy, busy, busy all the time. I'm actually taking action that is adding up, right? And having faith that your intuition is guiding you, that all of these things are adding up and you are coming to, and things are coming to fruition, right? So the next one is track the right metrics, right? So when you're moving forward on a project, it's really easy to get wrapped up in all the things, right? So really focus on tracking the things that you can control, not the things that you can't control. So as an example, right now, I'm really setting the intention for myself to get more comfortable on YouTube, to post videos more consistently. And so I'm tracking the things I can control, which is, did I show up in front of the camera today? Did I record a video straight from my heart? And did I post it on YouTube? If I did, I'm winning, right? I'm not paying so much attention to the analytics. Now I'm looking at the analytics a little bit so that I can improve my skill set, but who's watching, who's commenting, who's liking, I can't control that, right? I can continue to try to improve my skill set, but really, for me right now, my goal is to just show up and get more comfortable on camera. So if it helps you to really get clear on what can you control and what you can't control, here's one exercise you can do. Grab a piece of paper, put a line down the middle, and write my job, not my job, right? So I like to put like God's job in that because that's part of my faith. Use whatever language you want, whether it's not your job or it's the universe's job, God's job, whatever. But the idea is that you're staying in your lane where you're saying, okay, these are the things I can control. I can control, I'll use the example of pregnancy because it's such a clear example. So if you are pregnant and you are growing a baby, what can you control? You can control what you eat, getting sleep as best you can. You can control moving your body, keeping yourself as calm as possible. Like those are the things you can control. You cannot control where all the fingers and toes end up. You cannot control the color of your baby's eyes, right? All of these things is very clear that that's God's job, right? And so sometimes just writing it out and being like, I'm going to track the things that I can control, because when we do that, then we get a sense of we're winning, right? Because so often if we're tracking the things that we can't control, then we're taking ourselves out. We start to get all in our head, this isn't working, and it can really hurt our productivity and also cause all kinds of stress, right? So it definitely hurts our peace if we're getting wrapped up in things that are really not in our responsibility, right? We can't control those things. So one of the hacks is really paying attention to what can you control and taking action in that category and celebrating wins that are aligned with that piece. So that brings us to celebrations, right? So as you're tracking your wins, celebrate them, right? I love every night to sit down and think about, what am I celebrating? What am I so grateful that I'm receiving today? What are my wins? Because all of these, you start to see like, these really are adding up. I really am making progress, right? And that helps us be more productive the next day, right? Because we can see our mindset, our trust is building, all of these things are coming together. And so the momentum starts to build, right? And we can show up more peacefully the next day because we feel like we're winning, it's working, it's all coming together. So the last thing that I want to share is super important. Every night before bed, I think about what it is that I want to forgive. What do I want to forgive myself for? What do I want to forgive anybody else for? Forgiveness really just meaning, what am I going to let go of? What am I going to surrender and set aside? Because if we can let go and surrender and forgive the night before, then that means we can wake up refreshed and ready to be peacefully productive the next day. We're not bringing all of this baggage into the next morning. And I know this can be a challenge. In the next video, I'll talk about forgiveness. So if this is something you want to hear, definitely hit subscribe and the bell notification or the bell icon so you're notified when that forgiveness video comes live. But it's really, I find that it's a really important practice for helping me wake up and be productive in a peaceful, sound way the next day. Because if I'm going into all of this story, all of this shame, all of this drama about, did I do enough? Did I do it well enough? And all of that stuff, it really slows me down, and sometimes it completely stops me. And even if it doesn't stop me, it takes out my peace, right? So it's a really important practice. And like I said, I'll talk more about that tomorrow, but those are my 11 hacks. And really so much of this just comes down to just doing the best you can, right? Recognizing that this is all a process. We're just doing the best I can. And anytime you're doing the best you can, then there's nothing to be ashamed of, right? You can really release shame, release guilt, because you can embrace that you're just doing your best, right? You're trying, you're showing up, and you're doing your best every single day. And what more can anyone ask of you, right? What more can you ask of yourself? So these are my 11 productivity hacks for peaceful productivity and really creating what you want in a way that supports you in having the peace, the serenity, the connection to your heart, to the people that you love, and to the vision that that life has put on your heart, to the work that you're here to do into this world, that so many people are waiting for you to show up and do your work. And you can do your work and achieve all of the things that your heart desires from a place of peace and calm. And that is my hope for all of us. So thank you so much for watching. My name is Kirsten Barrett. I love to talk about intuition and how to use intuition to create the desires that are most on our heart. I love to talk about manifestation and universal principles. If these are things that are interesting to you, then I invite you to subscribe to my channel. I would love to hear if this resonates with you. Click like, comment, let me know if this is helpful. Let me know if you have questions so that I can answer them in an upcoming video, and have a great rest of your day. Thank you so much for watching. Bye for now.